We just passed National Quitters Day. Have you given up your nutrition goals or resolutions already? Kathy's talking about how to jumpstart those goals and make sure you're successful in them. Join her for this exciting topic.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Have you ever heard me talk about the 2 D words that I guarantee will bring you any kind of success in life? 2 simple D words. And if you're watching on my YouTube channel, I usually show it with 2 Ds on top of each other and then an S at the bottom, like we're going to fill in the blank. We're going to make this plural. Well, I want to get your brain going. If you've listened to any of my previous podcasts or YouTubes, do you remember what those 2 D words are? And if you've never heard it before, what do you think? What are 2 words that begin with the letter D that will bring you any type of success in life? Sometimes the words I hear are do or don't, delegate, determined. There's a lot of good D words. So before I really give you the answers, let me paint a picture if I could. Let's pretend that you are in an airport, or maybe you're at a conference, and you see people walking around with their Bluetooth in their ear. Now, I know that many of us wear them because we're listening to things. We're listening to music, we're listening to podcasts, we're listening to YouTube videos, whatever it might be. But especially when the Bluetooth speakers or Bluetooth earpieces really became popular, what I found was people had them on because they were constantly talking to people. They were talking to clients. They were talking to whomever. They were having conversations or phone calls. I remember being in airports and thinking, holy cow, when is it that they just kind of rest a minute? But people are taking calls and talking nonstop. One time I was at a conference and I ran into a friend. I hadn't seen her in ages. We gave each other hugs, we started talking, and then suddenly she's like, oh, wait a minute. And she pushed a button on her Bluetooth earpiece and said, hold on. And she kind of walked away and took a phone call. I was offended. Okay, I was offended because we were having an amazing conversation and this phone call interrupted us and took priority. It took precedence. That person that just called won. And I was kind of forgotten. And she told me later she wears it because she's just so busy. She's so busy. I mean, she's got to take phone calls whenever she can. And busy is a bad word. Okay, busy starts with the letter B. That is not one of the words that's going to guarantee you success. Get that word out of your vocabulary. Don't think it. Don't say it. None of it. Because busy doesn't just happen to us. Busy doesn't just kind of attack us. We choose what we want to be busy with. So you no longer can use busy as an excuse like somebody just dropped it on you. You chose it. And that's related to our first D word, decide. We decide what we want to do. We decide what we want to be a part of. We make a decision, and once we make a decision of whatever it is that we want to partake in, then we need to stay disciplined to that decision. If we don't stay disciplined to the decision, it's not going to happen. We're not going to get it done. Do you ever make a New Year's resolution? Or maybe you pick a word of the year, or maybe it's just a big goal that you have. How easy is it for you to stay disciplined to that decision? You know, January 12th is National Quitters Day because we usually give ourselves about 12 days before we just abort that decision. But here's the deal, these 2 D words, very critically important. That S does more than make this plural. The S really should insert between the 2 D words. The S is the golden nugget. When we make a decision to do something, we now have to set up a system to stay disciplined to. It's the system that helps us get it done. I might make a great decision in the beginning of the year that I want to lose 50 pounds this year. But that decision, I mean, what do you stay disciplined to? It's the system. I'm not going to buy junk food. I'm going to avoid sugar. I'm going to exercise more. Those are the systems, right? I'm putting it into my calendar. I have the right equipment. Those systems make it easy to reach my goal or my decision. So let's talk about the food that we choose to consume. Let's talk about the nutrition or the calories or whatever, however you want to take it. Let's talk about the system of food intake. There are two things that really help our body work better. And I think I've done a previous podcast called The Sexy New Diet for top employees. The sexy new diet is to get more protein and fiber. If it's your decision to add more protein to your diet, to add more fiber to your diet, what's the system that you need to implement? Well, if we're talking about the system of food intake, a good system is meal planning and meal prepping. We need to make life easier for ourselves. We need to do a little bit of planning, a little bit of prepping, and it'll be so easy for us to follow this decision. It'll be so easy to stay disciplined to the decision of more protein and more fiber. So here's some system ideas. Idea number one, don't buy junk. Don't buy the junk food. If it's not in your house, you're not going to eat it. Now, I know you can go out shopping if you have a sudden urge for ice cream or chips, but it's a lot more inconvenient to go out in that moment than if it were in your house. If you just don't buy the junk, it's easier to go for the protein or go for the fiber. It's easier to follow your goal, to follow your decision. System number two, shop online. You know, the pandemic made it really easy to convert your grocery shopping habits over to this online type of system. And every grocery store has created an amazing app and online shopping experience. So embrace it. Download the app, shop online, pick up your groceries. You're going to avoid those impulse purchases. I was at Menards the other day, and Menards is a home hardware store, not even hardware. It's kind of like a Home Depot, okay, but it's more Wisconsin and Midwest based. And I love Menards, especially their checkout area, because they always have just this odd arrangement of candy and goodies, especially in the Christmas season. Well, at this new Menards, they didn't have it. Oh my gosh, I was so disappointed. They have a whole new checkout lane and checkout system, and they didn't have this array of junk food. Talk about not buying it. They really made it easy for me. They made it easy. I didn't have any impulse purchases while I was going through the checkout line. You can avoid that too by just shopping online. And oh, by the way, when you're shopping, when you're on your app, make sure that you're not hungry. You know, just like if you were to go in the grocery store, go in full, you buy less. Another little bonus system there. All right, system idea number three is to create yourself a food plan. Here's what you need to create a successful food plan. You need three things. Number one, you need your weekly calendar. This is not only your personal calendar, your work calendar, but the family calendar as well. Okay, you need all of the above. Number two, you need a menu list. And number three, you need a grocery list. Well, when you have your calendar, then it makes it really easy to create the menu and the grocery list. Here's how it works, okay? Create yourself some kind of tool that you're going to fill in every week. Here, if you're watching the video, I'm showing you this tool on the screen. This tool is a spreadsheet. I literally went into my favorite grocery stores and I wrote down what was in each aisle. Aisle 1 was produce. Aisle 2 was canned goods. Aisle 3 was... So I wrote it down and I went back to my computer and I made a spreadsheet. Easy as that. Here on my spreadsheet, you'll see the aisles of my favorite store, but at the very bottom right corner is the calendar. just a real quick little grid that says, hey, what day of the week and what is the menu going to be for the night, and then what's the activities of that day or evening with your family. So when my kids were younger, oh, this was so valuable. I would fill it out every single week, and I'd say, okay, Wednesday is church, and Thursday is a swim meet, and Friday we're going to be traveling. So by starting with the activities, then I could start to decide what's going to be for dinner every single night. If we're traveling, well, it better either be we're eating out while we're on the road, or I'm going to pack something that's easy to travel with. If it was a church night, it better be something that my kids can prepare, like tater tot casserole. They know how to make it, so they can get it ready so we can eat quick when mom and dad get home from work. You know, here on this list, on the weekends, I was adding breakfast ideas or breakfast menus, lunch menus, even snack items. And once I finished just the bottom right corner of my spreadsheet, all I was doing was creating my menu list. Then I move into the more prominent piece of the spreadsheet, and I start adding the grocery items that I need to successfully make each item on the menu. I'm going to probably be sitting in my kitchen and going through my cupboards and seeing what I have and what I don't have. Now notice that the grocery list is organized by the aisle of the store, right? I said that earlier. I took notes while I was in the grocery store, and I listed it in the spreadsheet in order. That alone is another system in itself, because now you can enter the store and truly start at the top and go all the way to the bottom and check out, and you're done. I created this because I was so frustrated with myself. I would come into the store and get all the produce, and by the time I got down to aisle 13, I realized that I forgot mushrooms. And I'd have to walk clear across to the other side of the store to grab the mushrooms. And then I'd realize, oh, I forgot toilet paper. So now I'm going to aisle 20 for toilet paper. What a waste of time. Back and forth. That's even more opportunity for impulse buying. Remember, make life easier for yourself. Think once to create the system, and then just follow the system every week. Follow the system. Here's another little bonus system idea. Use Sundays as family meal prep. When I'm making dinner, it's just my husband and I now at the house. So our kids are all grown and they moved out. But when I'm making dinner on Sundays, I get a bunch of vegetables out like carrots and celery and radishes. And while we're watching football, my husband's chopping up some radishes or peeling some carrots, and I'm cooking dinner, and then I'll walk over and I'll work on some veggies. And by the time we're done with dinner, so is our meal prepping for the week. You're going to eat the healthier stuff if it's all ready. If it's easy to grab, you're going to eat it. So let me first make your systems even easier. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, I definitely recommend you find the video, because I have a QR code that you can scan, and it's going to help you download this grocery list spreadsheet that I'm talking about. It might not even be your favorite grocery store, but at least you get an idea of what I'm talking about and where to start when you create your tool. I hope that I've challenged you today. I hope I've challenged your systems. I hope I've challenged your food goals. I hope I've challenged you to think differently. Take this, adapt it to who you are, but bottom line, find your systems. Put them into your daily routine, and it'll be really easy to stay disciplined to any decision you make. Be great today, my friends. We'll see you next time.